21-0 midway through the second quarter. But just when you thought this game was over, Brandon Marshall began to catch fire. Here's a 23-yard gain of his own 48, and then 9 plays later on the Indianapolis 5-yard line, there's Brandon Marshall in the end zone. He had 10 catches for 109 yards in the first half.
Would we consider him the go-to guy?
Yeah. Big, strong, physical, and fast.
And then he made sure that this lady wearing his jersey. That's some quality subtitles right there. Orton to Brandon Marshall again. That's his 18th catch of the game.
18?
Yeah, they were throwing to him like he was Terrell Owens on Jerry Rice Day.
Got another one.
Ties Terrell Owens' single-game record. For him, next possession, 4th and 18. Kyle Orton to Brandon Marshall, which breaks T.O.'s single-game record. The hook and ladder doesn't work with 1:50 and change to go. With it being 4th down, they needed it to work. So Marshall sets a record with his 21st, tie the game at 10. Next possession for the Broncos, 2 minutes to go from midfield. Brandon Marshall
going to your number one receiver.
Play.
Do what you do,
this
Brandon.
Guy runs angry.
51-yard playmaker.
He's angry because he is not paid. That's why he's angry.
Brandon Marshall with the score.
Go up and get it and take it. See, this is when you need a number one receiver. Game is tight. Everything's on the line. You got to make a play. You got to go to the well.
And guess who's BFFs now? Oh, the kids!
Man.
To be very honest, I know you don't make light of those sorts of injuries, but how in the world do you let Brandon Marshall so wide open 4 plays in the game?
Yeah, to be a double.
You'll never see that again.
Well, you don't want to Carlos Rogers either.
You want to bet?
Yeah, how about this play?
Yeah, well, it happened again.
Oh, my goodness. What happened to the secondary?
Watch D'Angelo and Smooth run away from each other.
He's your guy.
He's not my man. He's not my man. He's not my man. Man, what's wrong with you?
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. They went to the sideline. Play action. Safety's coming up.
Oh, my goodness.
Safety coming up. Cornerback saying, man, you know you got him. But Smoot is coming from the other side of the field.
Receiver does just that with one hand.
He can do this now. Good protection. A lot of play action and movement early to protect Kyle Orton. Allow guys like Brandon Marshall to make the big play down the field.
Go Bees, 28-yard play.
Offense off the field.
Well, Jay Cutler and that high-powered offense trying to move down the field. Brandon Marshall making some nice moves.
Love his athleticism to avoid the sack right there. Marshall making great moves, running at the catch. It's hard to find in receivers these days.
At the break, third quarter, Broncos opening possession. Cutler to a well-covered Brandon Marshall for 16, and now it's Cutler to Marshall again. And Marshall breaks a tackle. He's just big and physical.
Big and strong. They call him Baby T.O. because he can break tackles.
That's you in the all-time return list with that 10th of his career. But the next drive, first play of it, here's Brandon Marshall, 68-yard score, 3 touchdowns in 27 seconds.
That's how you answer a kickoff return for a touchdown with 1 play.
And the Broncos are up. And is your score there? Less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. It's Brandon Marshall who had a heck of a game.
Nice corner route. Great blitz pickup on the play.
And this is using a prop, apparently. He was flagged for using the snow. But undaunted, 34-7. Cutler to Marshall again. Wow. And, it's Denver. There's snow in both end zones. He's making a catch and shot. That's a lot of snow.
He's making it snow. I need that.
Meanwhile, the ball was bouncing well for the Broncos as Jay Cutler finds Brandon Marshall. Ball pops out of his hands and then right back to him.
Thank you very much.
Well, with Cutler, I like when he's scrambling. He's always looking downfield.
The young wide receiver hits a milestone. He's the first Bronco since Rob Smith in 2001 to come up with more than 100 catches in a season.
This guy's going to be a star. Just watch out for him. He's big and he's strong and he's talented.
All right, we pick things up. First play of the second quarter. Denver already up 7-3. We're in the middle of a drive. 9th play of the drive. 3rd catch of the day for Brandon Marshall, his first game of the year. Remember, he was suspended for game number 1. He made up for lost time. That led to a 3-yard Tony Scheffler touchdown. Broncos up 14-3. Next possession, it's Marshall again. And then tack on 15 more in a face mask. It's his own 20-yard line. It's a 2-minute drill situation. Cutler finds Brandon Marshall for his 5th catch of the day. You'll understand why we're pretty much telling you every time he catches the ball how many he has. 3 plays later, it's Cutler to Marshall for his 6th catch of the day.
Look at the arm strength. That was a out on the...
On 2nd and goal, throws to Brandon Marshall, his 10th catch of the day already.
Stutter route.
Capping an 11-play, 80-yard, 2 minute and 23 second drive that earned.
Rich, I like him. You know why? Plays like this. Look at him standing tall in the pocket, going to his go-to man.
Brandon Marshall, perfect throw, ruled out of bounds, but Mike Shanahan's got the red challenge flag, and he throws it for good reason because Marshall made a great catch.
1, 2, he's in.
14-3. Denver Broncos next possession, up 2. Cutler to Marshall. Gain of 28 yards. Tack on that flag for pass interference. So looks for his top receiver. This guy can grab the football.
Yes, Marshall. One of his 7 catches. Throw it up nice and high to the tall guy. He'll go make a play in the back of the end zone.
Throw and catch. I think this Cutler-Marshall connection is working. What do you think?
Looks good.
Broncos ball on the Jaguars 32, down by those 2 scores. 10 minutes to go. Cutler to Brandon Marshall, who turns into David Blaine.
He's got 9 catches today, and he's been a factor. Every game he's played, he's been a factor.
9 catches, 98 yards, and the power of magic. 15 total rushing yards, second fewest in franchise history, fewest in 36 years. Brandon Marshall, however, says, forget about rushing yards when I can run it like this, yards after the catch. However,
hold on.
There is a flag. Offensive pass interference.
They actually call pass interference on offense.
Oh,
nice push.
On that, let him play.
Give those referees some credit.
With $1:18 to go in the end zone, there's Brandon Marshall, touchdown. The Broncos take a 34-30 lead, and Marshall was an exciting game, 3rd and 7 from their own 20. Cutler flings it to Brandon Marshall, big 47-yard grab. We're replaying it on Tuesday. Must have been a big finish. 7 plays.
8 man in the box. It is a throw. Left side. He wants Marshall. Brandon goes up, makes the catch. No sign yet. It is a Denver touchdown.
Jay Cutler from shotgun fires to Brandon Marshall, touchdown. 10-0 Denver.
Looks like they came to play.
Colts next possession. Joseph
The draw. Jake facing a 3-man rush. Stops, throws, pass caught. Brandon Marshall with a nice grab inside the 10. The big wide receiver is spun down. Snap, drops to throw. Protection breaks down. Pass is going to be caught. This is going to be Brandon Marshall with a lot of room to run. Marshall squares. The big receiver runs to a tackle. He's on his feet. Foot race. Brandon Marshall, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He's got a Denver touchdown. Elam has it up, and we are tied with 2:37 to go. 10 from the Bengal 27. Alexander in short motion, slot right. Here's the handoff to Rod Smith, who stops, throws it back to Jay Cutler. Cutler loads it up and throws. He's got Brandon Marshall, but I think he caught it. Yes, he caught it at the 2. That was a direct snap to Rod Smith. Smith then threw a backward pass to Jay Cutler. And Cutler threw it to Brandon.
Certainly felt as the Packers led this game with the break 13-7. Second half, it's Cutler to Brandon Marshall for 26 yards.
On the line, Cutler got him down for the game-time field goal. Did a great job.
Now here, $1:25 to play. It's Cutler over the middle of the field. He finds Marshall, who fights his way into Green Bay territory. A huge 35-yard play made possible by that little extra effort by Marshall. And you see Brett Favre very nervously looking on from the Green Bay sideline. Cutler again buys time. Over the middle of the field, again finds Marshall. And you see Marshall hunting for that first down marker. He finds his...
During that great stretch, there's a bunch of the running backs were hurt. It's a big gain of 16 on 3rd and 14 in the opening drive. And then Brandon Marshall, gain of 21. You'll see who the Broncos turn to in a moment. 8 plays after that catch for Hillis, which was nice, although he got himself hurt. Brandon Marshall puts the Broncos within 3 again. Well, apparently he's selling a cell phone plan in a local mall at a kiosk. Literally when they call him.
He's not selling anymore.
No, he's not.
Bubble screen.
He had 58 yards rushing, Bell, and 4 plays later, Brandon Marshall on the bubble. And that's when the game really began to get blown open. As Brandon Marshall comes around the end around, the Broncos settle for a field goal, go up 13-6. And
the Denver Broncos, McDaniels, incidentally, looking to become first rookie head coach in 22 years to start out 3-0. All right. Broncos making them pay. Orton to Marshall. Okay. 3-yard touchdown.
Kyle Orton, all he does is win foot.
6 plays later, 10th play of the drive, Kyle Orton to Brandon Marshall.
Great defense by Sean Sprague. Back shoulder play, hard play to cut.
Did stand over the guy and point at him, which I guess the whole idea of
before that, though.
Well, here comes Brandon Marshall. Next play.
This guy's getting into his groove now. He's hard to stop. He's a true #1 receiver.
See what happens when you speak to Michael. That's water under the bridge, though, isn't it?
No.
Brandon Marshall,
Man,
runs it in. Matt Castle was benched after 3 quarters. Coach
the lead
on the Broncos, and they're up 13-9 in the 3rd quarter. Kyle Orton finds Mr. 21 catches, only 7 catches on the day.
That's all?